Look, I'm 19 years old, and the people I can call right now, the combined net worth easily exceeds $1 billion. And I'm not talking about some fake LinkedIn connections or some people I met at a networking event that don't remember my name. I'm talking about people who I've met, who I've worked with, and who will pick up the phone when I call. People who fundamentally changed how I think about business, about life, and about what's actually possible. My mindset has literally changed in ways I couldn't even have imagined 2 years ago. I literally have daily access to advice that most people would pay six figures for. And the opportunities that come through these relationships, they've literally changed the trajectory of my life. But here's what nobody tells you. I didn't build this network by trying to build a network. I didn't go to these networking events. Neither did I slide into DMs asking for coffee chats. In fact, everything you think you know about networking is probably 100% wrong. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the exact system that I used to build genuine relationships with people operating at levels that I could barely comprehend when I started. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to replicate it for yourself. So stay with me because what I'm about to share is not theory. It is the blueprint that has worked for me and the blueprint that is going to work for you. Let me start with something that's very counterintuitive. You will never build a real network if your priority is to build a network. Think about it. When someone approaches you and you can feel that they just want something from you, what do? You pull back. You get guarded. Because nobody wants to be a transaction, right? Nobody wants to be a stepping stone in someone else's climb. I see so many people making this mistake. They go to networking events, they collect business cards, they send these LinkedIn requests, they ask for 15 minutes to pick your brain, and they keep wondering why nothing ever happens, why nobody ever responds to them, and why the relationships never materialize. The thing is, successful people can smell the bullshit from a mile away. They've been approached by thousands of people who want something from them. At that point, they literally have a sixth sense for it. And the moment they detect that, you're done. You're just put into that bucket of just another person trying to just extract value from them or just get something from them. So if networking isn't about networking, what is it about? It's about growth. It's about becoming someone worth knowing. And as sad as it might sound, it does require a lock-in period where you're not focused on the network at all. You're focused on becoming undeniable. When I was 15, 16, I wasn't thinking about building a $1 billion network. I was just constantly obsessed with getting better every single day. I was obsessed with learning, with executing, with becoming someone who could actually deliver results. I spent literally 12, 14, 16 hours a day locked in on my craft. No parties, no distractions, just work. And I want you to understand something. This isn't optional. This is the price of entry. You literally cannot skip this phase. You cannot hack your way around it. The people that are operating at these high levels, they did not get there by accident. And they're not going to waste their time with someone who has not put in the work. Now, here's what I realized early. You need to be in good shape, you need to have good knowledge, and you need to actually be doing something significant. Because successful people have options. They choose who they want to spend their time with. And 100% of the times, they choose people who are going somewhere. If you're out of shape, if you're not taking care of yourself, that communicates something. It literally says that you can't even manage your own life. So why would someone successful want to bring you in theirs? I'm not saying you have to be a fitness model, but you need to respect yourself enough to have a healthy body. If you don't have knowledge, if you can't hold an intelligent conversation, if you're not learning and growing, what value do you bring to the table? Successful people want to be around other people who make them better, who challenge them, and who bring new perspectives. And if you're not actually doing anything, if you're sitting at home watching shows, consuming content and living in theory instead of practice, you literally have nothing to offer. You're not interesting, you're not valuable, you're just another person with dreams and no execution. I was 16, 17 years old, running a real business, making real money, getting real results for real clients, and I wasn't theorizing about entrepreneurship. I was in the arena, and that made all the difference. Because when you're actually in the game, when you're solving real problems, when you're generating real outcomes, you start to develop a depth that cannot be faked in any way, shape, or form. You have stories, you have insights, you have proof, and that is what successful people respect. So just ask yourself right now, if someone with a 9-figure net worth looked at your life right now, would they be impressed? Would they see someone who's serious, someone who's committed, someone who's going somewhere? Or would they see someone who's still playing around, still making excuses, still waiting for that perfect moment? The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't luck. It's not even connections, it's literally you. It's the work that you're willing to put in when nobody is watching. It's the discipline that you have when it would literally be easier to quit. It's the standards that you hold yourself to when nobody else is holding you accountable. Alright, now here's where everything shifted for me. And this is going to be the most valuable part of this video, which is I documented my journey. And I'm going to be very specific about this because documentation is not what most people think it is. 95% of my network came through content. Not from cold outreach, not from networking events, not from mutual connections, from content. And I want to break down exactly how this works. When I say document your journey, I don't mean post every little thing you do. I don't mean share your morning routine or your coffee. I mean create a premium version online of what you're actually accomplishing in real life. Show the wins, show the process, show the losses, show the insights that you're getting every single day. But make it high quality, make it valuable, make it something that demonstrates you're operating at a level that is worth paying attention to. I literally started posting everything about the businesses I was building, the revenue I was generating, the lessons I was learning from working with these international clients, the systems I was developing, the frameworks I was creating, and I did it consistently, like not once in a while. Not when I felt like it, I did that every single day. And here's what happened. I started attracting eyeballs, and lots of them. I built a personal brand that was reaching millions of people every single month. And out of those millions, tens of thousands of people followed me. And out of those tens of thousands of people, there were people operating at levels far beyond where I was. Just think about the power of this for a second. Instead of me trying to find successful people and try to convince them to talk to me, they were finding me. It was the other way around. They were seeing my content, they were seeing proof of what I was capable of, and they were reaching out. This is the fundamental shift that most people miss out on. People always want to speak to people who are winning in life, at least most of the times. But the only way to find more and more of these people is to show how you're winning and show what moves the needle for you. If you're crushing it in silence, good for you, but you're limiting the number of opportunities that land on your table every single day. When you document your journey publicly, you create a magnet. You create attraction and you make it easy for people to be able to find you. And I was very strategic about this. I was not posting motivational quotes. I was not posting generic advice. I was posting specific results, specific systems, my mindset, my raw approach at business that could only come from someone who was actually doing the work. I was providing value, but at the same time, I was simultaneously building credibility. The content served multiple purposes. It demonstrated my capabilities, it provided value to an audience, it built a personal brand, and it extracted the exact type of people I wanted to connect with. This is leverage. This is literally how you compress decades of traditional networking into months and weeks. But here's the critical part that most people get wrong. Your content needs to be premium. It needs to be the type of content that makes someone stop scrolling and be like, who's this person? They're operating at a different level. They're doing something unique. They are doing something that's out of their lane. If your content is average, you'll attract average people. If your content is exceptional, not only will you attract average people, but you'll also attract exceptional people. I literally spent hours on every single piece of content that I put out. I made sure that every video, every post, every carousel that I put out reflected the standards that I held for myself and that I knew those exceptional people would respect. Because I understood that at the end of the day, my content is my reputation. It was literally how people were forming their first impression of me. And I only have one shot at that impression. Okay, so now you're creating content, you're building an audience, and you're getting attention. Now what? Because this is where most people just drop the ball. They get the attention they want, but they don't know how they can convert that into genuine relationships. Here's what I did. When someone reached out, when someone showed interest in what I was doing, I put in effort, real effort, not just a generic response, not a copy-paste message, but I engaged with them as a real person. And some of these people became clients. They saw what I was doing, they wanted to work with me, and those messages turned into business relationships and revenue for me. But more importantly, some of them actually became really good friends. People I genuinely enjoy spending my time with. People I learn from, people who've become a core part of my life, and people who I'm going to build big things with in the future. And this is where the magic happens, right? When you approach these interactions with genuine intentions, when you're not just trying to extract value, but you're trying to build a real connection, people feel that, people respond to that, and they want more of it. When someone exceptional has reached out to me, I would take the time out of my day to hop on a call with them. I would spend time understanding what they do tell them more about what I do, and generally build a connection. And I would even provide value without expecting anything at all in return. And that's exactly how over time those conversations turned into genuine relationship. And those relationships turned into opportunities, and those opportunities turned into the billion-dollar network that I have today. And there's no clickbait when I say billion-dollar network. When I say billion-dollar network, I literally mean billion-dollar network. But you have to be intentional about it. You can't half-ass it. You can't treat people like transactions. You can't be thinking all the time about what you can get from them. You have to genuinely care about building a relationship. I remember early on, someone reached out who was way more successful than me, 7-figure business, way more experience, operating at a level that I would aspire to operate at. And I didn't approach that conversation thinking, oh, what can this person do for me? I approached it thinking, okay, how can I provide value? What is the smallest thing that I can do, or the biggest thing that I can do that would make a very small impact in his life? And you know what? That person is someone who I talk to now regularly. Someone who's given me advice that is hands down worth millions. Someone who's opened doors that I didn't even know existed. Not because I asked for it, but because I built a genuine relationship first. And this is the same pattern that repeated over and over. Create valuable content, attract the right attention, invest in real relationships, and just watch what happens. The opportunities don't come from asking, they come from being someone worth having in someone's life. And here's the thing that most people miss. Successful people are lonely at the top. They have lots of acquaintances, but very, very few real friends. Very few people who they can talk to about what they're going through. Very few people who are not constantly asking them about something. When you show up as someone who's genuinely interested in them as a person, not just their status or their connections or what they can do for you, you stand out. You become valuable in a way that has nothing to do with what you can get from them. And that's exactly when real relationships form. Now, building the network is one thing, but maintaining it and deepening it is another. And this is where most people fail. They make a connection, they get excited, and then they disappear. They don't nurture it, they don't invest in it, and then the relationship usually dies. I stay in touch with people, not in a forced way, not with scheduled check-ins that feel robotic, but generally I just send them interesting stuff that I find online that might relate with their business. I congratulate them on their wins. I check in when I know they're going through something that might be difficult. I show up, and when I have wins, I share them as well. Not to brag or flex, but just to keep them updated on my journey, because that's just the relationship that we share. Because people want to see people in their network succeed. They want to be a part of your story. They want to watch you grow. And this literally creates a positive feedback loop. The more successful you become, the more valuable you are to your network. The more valuable you are to your network, the more they want to help you succeed. And it just keeps compounding. The network keeps getting bigger. The opportunities keep getting better. But again, I've said this for the millionth time, but it only compounds if you're genuine, if you're real, and you have the right intentions. These connections work out for me because I actually care about these people beyond what they do or what they've accomplished. Because trust me, the moment you reach out with the fact that you only need something, you lose the connection. And the relationship just becomes transactional, and transactional relationships are worth nothing at a higher level. I've had people in my network open doors for me that I've never even asked them to open for me. I've had people make introductions that help me make a lot of money. I've had people give me advice that literally saved me years and months of making mistakes. Not because I asked, but because they genuinely want to see me win. And when they give me advice, I listen. That's a very important factor as well. And I've also done the same for the people in my network. When I see an opportunity that would help someone grow, I make the introduction. I put in the effort to make sure that something positive happens for them. When someone reaches out with a challenge, I try my best to help them or find someone who can help them. When someone needs advice, I give it freely, because that's what a real network is. It's mutual, it's reciprocal, it's built on genuine relationships, not transactions. So, before the video ends, let me just recap the blueprint for you, because this is literally how you build a billion-dollar network. First, stop trying to build a network. Focus on growth. Lock in for as long as it takes to become someone worth knowing. Respect successful people enough to show up as someone they would genuinely want to spend time with. Second, get your life in order. Be in good shape. Have real knowledge. Actually be doing something significant. You cannot hack this. You cannot skip this. This is the foundation that everything else is built on. Now, third, the most important, document your journey publicly. Create premium content that demonstrates you're operating at a level that's worth noticing, worth paying attention to. Be consistent, provide value, share your wins, share how you're winning. Build a personal brand that attracts the right people to you. Just make it easy for successful people to see you and know that you're worth knowing. Lastly, when people show interest, invest in real relationships. Put in effort, be genuine. Build connections based on mutual respect and shared values, not transactions. And here's the final thing that I want you to understand. The goal isn't to build a network so that you can extract value from it. The goal is to build genuine relationships with people you respect, people you learn from, people who will make you better. When you approach it that way, when you focus on giving rather than getting, when you care about people beyond what they can do for you, everything changes. The opportunities will come, the doors will open, the introductions will happen, but they'll come naturally as a byproduct of a real relationship, not as a result of manipulation or extraction. I'm 19 years old and I have access to these very, very, very successful people. I can confidently say the top 0.0001%. Not because I'm special, not because I got lucky, not because I had generational connections, but because I literally followed this exact blueprint. It's not a cheat code, it's a process. I literally put in the work when nobody was watching. I built something that is worth paying attention to. I documented it publicly and I invested in real relationships that actually meant something to me. And if I can do it, you can do it too. It's not easy, it requires discipline, it requires consistency, it does not pay off quick, it pays off in the long run, and it does require you to become someone worth knowing, but it works. And the life that's on the other end of all of this, it's better than you can imagine. Trust me guys, I did not think I'd be saying this 2 to 3 years back, but the higher up you go in the ladder of life, if you're doing the right things, if you're climbing the mountain, you will see that there are very few genuine relationships that will stick with you. So stop trying to network, start building, start documenting, start connecting, and watch what happens.